So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about how this showed up in my life, how I called in my quote unquote next level partnership, which all that really means to me is just like having a desire for an exceptional kind of love, and also calling in a next level client to match my next level work. How I did it and how I moved through the periods of time when it wasn't here, and what you can do to call it in faster. Welcome to the Worth It podcast. I'm Megan Taylor, coach for the brilliant minds and the rare ones who are always growing. I have helped ambitious women and men, business owners and leaders from around the world with defining and expanding their unique work, having the relationship that they actually want, and creating the life that makes all of the work feel worth it. Every week on the podcast, we discuss the key pivots that I coach my clients on and the real work required in order to be a leader and the woman or the man that you're here to be. With that, let's get started. Hi. So today we are going to be talking about how to call in your next level partner, or how to call in your next level client, next level work when it feels like it's really far away from where you currently are. I work with a lot of clients who are in this place of feeling really ready to elevate and upgrade in all areas of life, and I've been there as well. Sometimes you have been putting in all of the work and still getting the same results, and you're like, you have this vision for this higher level relationship, whether it is calling in your new partner or even calling in the next iteration of your current relationship, because even your current relationship, it's going to go through multiple evolutions. It's really a big part of it is on you in terms of how the relationship evolves, which I think is a really exciting thing, because it's about really being an invitation into what it is that you actually want with your partner, and doing the same thing in your work as well, in terms of the work that you really want to do, the way that you want to do your work so that your workday feels really good for you, and also calling in a next level of client. So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about how this showed up in my life, how I called in my quote unquote next level partnership, which all that really means to me is just like having a desire for an exceptional kind of love, and also calling in a next level client to match my next level work. How I did it and how I moved through the periods of time when it wasn't here, and what you can do to call it in faster. First of all, let's talk about love. So I, had been doing all of the things to prepare myself for the kind of love that I wanted, which was I wanted to be a woman who was highly successful, who was a leader, but who was also with a man who was a leader as well. But I wanted to be with a man who was also, a kind leader, a benevolent leader, and who really wanted to consider me and my real dreams as a part of what, our collective vision, and where my vision was a match for his vision as well. I'm a very unique kind of person, and so I'm just not a match for everyone. I really value high quality communication. I value someone who knows themselves really well. I require love and respect. I like to laugh. I'm somebody who's kind of like half city girl, half nature girl, and I have many sides to my personality. I am somebody who is like kind of a nerd, kind of a goofball, kind of, this like skinky chick that likes to dance in the box at the club. I'm very sweet. I have a nurturing side. I have a lot of different sides. I'm very multidimensional, as many women are. And I wanted a man who really loved all sides of me, and who also really stimulated my different sides, and who wanted to play like in all of those different aspects. I had been with a lot of different amazing, dated partners like long-term in the past who had really amazing qualities, but I just had this sense that there was somebody where I wanted to have just this next level relationship where we felt like a real team and like a power couple. And I could feel the sense of him out there. And I was like, why is it taking so long? I felt like he should be here by now. And I had been doing all the work to study different things, I mean, lots of therapy and personal development and studying polarities, studying communication styles, and just, went to Gottman workshops. And I was just like, I was also like project managing my love life where I was like basically making the online dating apps like a quarter time job to just try to have enough matches to be able to quicken in my discernment of what I was looking for. But eventually, pushing for the goal of like the next level relationship, it kind of took all the magic out of it. And it wasn't until I actually let go of trying to make it happen that it happened, like very, very quickly. And so, one thing that I want to say is you want to keep in mind, first of all, I truly believe that all the desires are in your heart are meant to be realized. However, they are not always realized in the exact way that you think they're going to happen or in the timeline that you think that they're going to happen. And the more that you try and force a particular way, instead of really getting curious about a more easeful way of doing things, the longer it takes. And so I really had to do the inner work to be the match for my man and to really call him in. And as soon as I dropped my agenda of the timeline and just trusted that my desires would be realized, that's really when it happened. The first thing is you want to take a look at what really is your authentic desire when it comes to this partnership. What are your non-negotiables and what are you willing to flex on? Because, for me, I had a pretty tall order of what I was looking for. But at the same time, once I found him, there were certain things that like maybe weren't as expected to be on the list that didn't line up, but it kind of didn't matter anymore because he was everything I wanted and more. It started first with really trusting that my desires were meant to be realized and letting go of the timeline, even though I was feeling the time pressure. Another thing that you need to let go of is past instances when things didn't go right. Because when you're really going for a big dream and a big desire, your fears are going to come up hard. They're going to be like, you're going to die alone. You're never going to find someone. You're just not good at relationships. You should really just stop trying. You have a bad picker. Like whatever it is, whatever the fear is that comes up, we have to really ask that fear to sit down so that you can listen to what the desire is, because the desire is pure and the fear is just here to keep you safe, and it tends to get louder when you're going for something really big. Also, we need to remember that past failures that you've experienced, you can use those as evidence for why it's not going to work out. But I would say the better approach that you really want to have, the mindset you want to have, is my past failures and making it through those and pulling the lessons out of those is what makes me even more prepared now for receiving what it is that I desire. Your failures are like gold medals that help you prepare yourself for love in the future. Just because it's been hard and you haven't had it yet does not mean it is not for you or does not mean it is not coming. The main thing you need to do is alchemize your lessons and make sure that you are really owning your parts in inviting in and creating and keeping those kinds of situations, especially if you kept them longer than was necessary to learn the lessons, so you can learn the lessons faster. Oftentimes, you'll keep having the same kinds of fears or the same kinds of challenges come up and you're like, ugh, I thought that I dealt with this already. Just know that, when it comes to your own growth path, it's like you continue to peel the onion. And so, maybe you've struggled with, I don't know, worthiness or fear of losing someone in the past. And you're like, oh, why am I still feeling like so uncomfortable whenever my man goes to travel and he stops communicating or something like that? And it makes you feel, kind of anxious. Well, maybe the last time it happened, it made you feel kind of anxious, but now you can have a different perspective on, okay, I'm a different kind of woman now. I'm the kind of woman where, I understand that my man is going to have, a whole life outside of me. And the things that make me feel really good, loved, and cherished are these things. You're able to really show up with certainty about what makes for a high quality relationship for you and what does it look like for you to take the things that are just truly old fears that are trying to keep you safe and like just tuck that back behind your ear and not let it get in the way? And what are the things that are like actual needs or actual desires when it comes to your future relationship? So, if like presence and quality time is really important to you, maybe don't like date an airline pilot who's traveling all the time, like set yourself up for success. So you can use your past failures to understand what works for you now. Hi. So I don't know if you've heard, but I've decided to do something a little different. I'm opening up spots on my calendar for you if you are interested in working with me. This is for you if you are a high achiever, an executive, a business owner, a six-figure plus CEO, and you're ready to move beyond the success that you've already created, beyond the money and into the life and the work that you don't need a vacation from. So, this is how it works. This is 45 minutes complimentary to you, where we get on a call together. You come on the call and you share how you're honestly feeling about your life and your work right now. I'll tell you what I think about you, what I see is ready to be shifted, and we'll talk about the real work that you're being invited into so that you can actually make happen what it is that you want. Then we'll talk about different options for working together if you'd like to continue to be supported long term, and we can go from there. So if you're feeling the pull towards this, your next step is to reach out to me on Instagram at Megan W. Taylor. Send me the word beyond via DM, and I will get you a spot on my calendar. Now, if you are currently in a relationship, it's really about taking the desires that are in your heart and actually bringing them into conversation with your partner. And there are so many women that I coach who they have these like secret desires, but they're so afraid to reveal them to their man because at some fundamental level, they're afraid that they're going to get a bad reaction or that their partner won't love them anymore. And it can be really scary. But there's certain ways of communicating your desires with your partner in a way that's with a lot of love and respect that can really actually invite him into a new way of being together that actually feels even better for him too. Sometimes, you might uncover the desire or have a vision for what you guys could do as a couple that hasn't been voiced yet. And you can be kind of the oracle and be the one who brings that to the table as an invitation. And like I said, there's a way of doing that that really invites him forward and doesn't feel threatening for him. Although for some men, any kind of change feels kind of threatening. And so it really depends on the guy too. Let's be honest. So what do we talk about? Owning your desires, speaking them out loud out of your mouth, and noticing the things that are just fears that are trying to keep you safe, making sure that you really extract the past lessons so that you're really confident in moving forward and you're confident in your discernment about your decision making when it comes to your relationships. Those are all really important things when it comes to reducing the amount of time that it takes to calling him in. But truly, just like owning what I wanted and speaking it out loud was one of the fastest ways to call my man in. When I reached out to my friends and I finally shared with them, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. My amazing man and I, we're going to be parents. Like, we're so excited. We're making these next level commitments. And people were saying, oh my God, I'm so happy for you because you've wanted this for so long. And I didn't even realize how much I was speaking it out loud. So your words are extremely powerful. And, it's important to share them with people who can be responsible or to let go of what other people think when you share your dreams. Sometimes I post my dreams on the internet because it helps give me some public accountability. And it feels good to declare out loud what you want. There's all those pieces, but then the last thing just being, think about what you're really craving to feel when it comes to the type of love that you want and the type of connection that you want, and ask yourself, how can I be the kind of woman who's a match for that kind of relationship now? How can I be the wife now? How can I be the most loving, the most open, the most in alignment with my own fulfillment now? Because that's going to be you walking into the future by being who you want to be. That's a match for your future relationship and future mate. And when you're being that way, it takes the pressure off of the man showing up at a particular time or in a particular way, where he doesn't need to be a particular way in order for you to be happy, because you're taking responsibility for your own happiness and basically like your relationship with God or with the divine or with who you're really here to be. And that feels so good that it gives freedom around when he's going to arrive in your life, and a lightness and a softness and a magnetism that tends to draw him in, but also feels good for you. So that's how to collapse the amount of time that it takes. So that's on the relationship front, but truly a lot of these same things can be used in the work realm. So if you're ready to move into your next level work, if you're ready to move into working with a higher level client, again, one of the things that we need to do is just own the desire. What is it that you actually want? And to actually speak it out loud. So for example, I had a phone call, like I did one of the free Beyond Success calls with this corporate woman who, she's incredible. She lives in Spain, and she's like, I don't know if she's like CFO, chief financial officer, or some other kind of high-end role within finance in a company that she's been working at for over 10 years. And, secretly, she's really been wanting to have a conversation with her company and with her fellow colleagues about moving into a remote role, because that would feel really good for her, where she could do her work, but also she could have the balance of being able to work from home and being able to live where she wants to live and have more time with her partner as well. But she's really afraid that if she owns what she really wants, that it might look bad to the higher ups at the company, and that she might lose her job even. And so she's staying compliant. There is a reality to whether a company can allow for remote work, but also if you just continue to swallow your desires and you never know, like you really get what you ask for. And I can't tell you the number of clients that I've worked with where when we work together and we talk about how to frame up in their desires in a way that's powerful, that they get what they want. Like just this past week, I had a client who started showing up more in the embodiment of the work she really wants to do and really wants to contribute at work. And her boss out of nowhere turned around and gave her a raise that she didn't even ask for. And so again, it's like walking in the alignment of being who you want to be and doing the work that you're really here to do, and letting go of when the money comes, when the raise comes, and other people's approval, and being willing to risk other people thinking something about you. What other people think about you is none of your business. Your job is to be here doing the work that you love doing, getting paid abundantly, making your bigger contribution, and working with the clients that you really want to work with, because those are who you're going to be of highest service to. So, keep that in mind. And I mean, honestly, do you want to work for an employer where you're constantly having to sacrifice on something that is really important to you? Like, not me, but that's why I work for myself. I have a benevolent boss. So again, we need to own the desire and let it come up and out of your mouth. And there's also good ways of framing this up that will, protect your interests at work too, which is something we can talk about one-on-one. But when it comes to calling in a higher level client, the thing that you want to think about is how can you today be the match for the type of client that you want to work with. And most often what I find is that when you're not calling in the client that you want to work with, it's usually because you're either not fully owning your gifting, your talents, or it's because there's something slightly out of integrity, or where you're feeling some sort of imposter syndrome. And so what we want to do is just clean that up and get super crystal clear on what is your next level work. Who is the next level client that is best aligned to that work? So for example, when I made the shift out of doing, business operations work, and I was like, you know what, like I know I'm a boss at business strategy, but I know I'm meant to have a bigger focus. I know that I'm meant to work with a kind of client who doesn't just want to grow the business, but who also wants to grow on the inside and to focus on having the deepest levels of fulfillment in their life. I started doing that work behind the scenes with women who were asking me to help them scale their businesses, and men as well. But I found that some clients were more open and more desiring to focus on the quality of their life than others. And so once I started really getting in there and just doing the work that I wanted to do, whether people really asked for it or not, they started seeing the benefit. And so sometimes you just need to pull up the table and sit at it before anybody invites you, you know? Then I was able to use that to speak to the value of what happens when you focus on business growth, and personal fulfillment simultaneously, and to start calling in more of those clients. So, they have that phrase like, if you want to be the captain, like wear the uniform, like do that. You just need to start showing up for the job that you want. And start noticing like who are your first followers. And then once you have one, then there's a whole slew of them that follows. You need to figure out what is the value that you're really offering. Like, how do you provide the most value, which is the thing that you can also charge the highest rates for. Not that it's all about money, it's about service, but high service and money ideally go together, right? So you want to be doing your highest gifting work and delivering it to the clients that value it the most, who are going to stay for a long time, get results, pay and invest without a lot of questions. Again, a lot of this comes down to walking the talk. Be the wife before the man gets here. Be the woman that you want to be in the relationship, regardless of what your man is or isn't doing. Be the coach that is the match for the type of clients that you want to work with, and walk that behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. And when you are being the embodiment of that, it's going to feel so natural that, of course, the match to that is going to come. It's law. It's law energetically. Sometimes, we can't control the timeline of when it happens. As long as you're walking in that embodiment and owning your part, the other half, it always comes to fit. It's just a matter of time. If it's not here yet, it doesn't mean it's not meant for you. It's just time for you to focus on cleaning up your personal power, owning more of what it is that you want, speaking it out loud, and walking in alignment with that every single day without waver, regardless of what's going on in your external circumstances. Don't get distracted if it's not here yet. It's on its way. And what you need to do is just stay consistent. And if you keep showing up and doing the same thing, but getting the same results, you should reach out to me and book one of my Beyond Success calls, and we can figure out what it is that needs to shift in your life or in your work so that you can call all of this in faster. I'm offering these calls just a little bit longer to the public because they're free one-on-one calls. These are worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and have the potential to make you thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. As well as, calling in the relationship of your dreams and living a life that you're obsessed with. If you want to get in on some of that good, reach out to me on Instagram at Megan W. Taylor and send me the word beyond, and I will get you on my calendar. But it's only available for a little bit longer, so do jump on it. Okay? We'll see you in the next episode. Hi, lovely. Really quick before you go, it would mean the absolute world to me if you found value in today's episode, if you would take a minute to leave a 5-star review for the podcast. This is going to help other powerhouses like you to be able to find it. Also, I love interacting with my listeners, so I would love to know more about what you thought about today's episode. If you take a screenshot and share it to your Instagram stories and tag at Megan W. Taylor, it's going to notify me, and I actually love to reshare your posts with my audience as well. With that, thank you so much for being a listener, and I'm wishing you a beautiful, productive, happy, sexy, lucrative week, and I will see you on the next episode.